bet.
And for more on the state of the airlines as we do enter these critical few weeks, Seth Kaplan is principal at Kaplan Research. Seth, good morning. How bad do you think it's going to get?
Well, it's not even a question of what I think. We can look in that crystal that Phil was describing. Industry-wide, domestic seats for September looking to be about 52% of what they were a year earlier, that according to Cirium schedule data. The big news there is that for several months, that had been increasing. Each month was a little better as a percentage of the equivalent month a year later, ever since the low point back in May. And this finally is a reversal in that trend. Now, look, airlines could get lucky. Just because they schedule less doesn't mean that demand doesn't come back at least a little bit. But clearly, they're not feeling too bullish. In terms of the stimulus, potential second CARES Act, an interesting thing, too, to consider is that in some ways, it's actually a bigger deal for the stronger airlines. You would think that the weakest airlines of all would be counting the most on the $25 billion. But, in some ways, of course, that's not $25 billion net for the airlines. That's partly just kind of a pass-through to their employees. And some airlines have said, look, we're just going to lay off a lot of people. As you have an airline like Southwest, to some degrees Delta, trying everything they can do to keep people employed. And that means keeping people employed unproductively after October 1st if demand doesn't come back. So that money, to an extent, would just go into their pockets more, since they've said they're going to keep some, at least in Southwest's case, people on the payroll through the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you're not going to get any meaningful return to service until there's a vaccine, right? I mean, and especially not in, why would you get it in September? This can't be surprising news to anybody. You've got people going back to school and then anemic, at best, business travel expectations.
Exactly. It's a weak month to begin with, and that's why all you can really look at is the comps, right? I mean, September's always worse than August, but the question is September worse than September 2019? And right now, obviously it's going to be worse, but you want to see that sequential improvement month after month, and at least in terms of the schedules that airlines are putting out, we're not going to see that. I keep refreshing the TSA throughput numbers. That's become a favorite metric here because it's something you can kind of look at in real time. I want to see if yesterday, Sunday, set a new COVID-era record. The previous Sunday was the new record. Now, the story here is that you saw that chart that Phil showed. The improvement is very much flattened out. There was a period a couple months ago where demand seemed to be rebounding rather quickly, and where there was this possibility, at least, that maybe things wouldn't be so bad. I mean, once the new wave of COVID started, that very clearly was out of the picture. But let's see if at least yesterday was a little bit better than a Sunday earlier in terms of the improvement compared to the comparable Sunday a year earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Seth, we appreciate it. Thank you. That's Seth Kaplan.
Likewise. Stay safe.
Joining us this morning. Joe,